Welcome to another iSocialTalks. A happy September 11th to you. To say we never forget. I was in college in Virginia on this day 13 years ago. So a tough day, but a day we remember those who we lost, and thankful for September 12th as a day that we came together as a nation and kind of grow from that experience. But I'm talking today, it's not on the topic there. As you can see down below, it says, "Don't have to hate the love." And I'm actually rocking a little Gary V shirt today, a quote that I know was his in a shirt that he put out that I absolutely love. Penguin can't be a giraffe, so just be the best penguin you can be. And so what today's topic is you don't have to hate to love. And this is going to be a little bit of different iSocialTalks. I'm going to call this a podcast version of iSocialTalks, so it's going to be a little bit longer than what we've been doing on our previous 7 episodes. This is episode 8. I have got the request from multiple people wanting me to number the episodes, as it's a little bit of a issue to make sure they know they're catching up just by the title. So I will be changing what I kind of decided on the first chat, because it's all about tweaking and testing. If you listen to my last one, where I talked about Guy Kawasaki and my apologies because I said tweeting in every time zone was crazy, and then figuring out, fast forwarding a couple of years from that when I said that, and now I have amazing friends in Australia, in the UK, in the Middle East, in the Pacific, all thanks to Twitter and thanks to tweeting while I sleep, I call it. So for this episode, we're going to talk a little bit of Apple, a little bit of Android, a little bit of Twitter and Facebook changes and how people kind of portray that. And as you can see, I have my beautiful Terrible Towel as a diehard Steeler fan. So we're going to talk about you don't have to hate the love, and the caveat is sports might be a little different. For me, my Steelers play the Ratbirds, otherwise known as the Ravens, tonight, and in that case, there's some hate going on. I hate the Ravens. The Ravens fans hate the Steelers. It's a passionate love for a sporting event, and I understand the hate there. So nothing that I think is crazy when it comes to sports, but what I'm referring to is when you hear someone talk about they love their they have their favorite ice cream, you have your favorite whatever it is. The problem I have is that if for you to say something that you love, do you really have to say you hate the other thing? And let me explain. Got my Apple iPhone, using my new standard case here, my Simplicum case, but iPhone's a big one. So Apple had their big announcements, which even if you lived under a rock, you probably got a notification on your phone that Apple had their live event. The Twitters were buzzing. My Twitter handle is iSocialFans, with the I being because I'm a fanboy. I'm an Apple fanboy. I'm proud to have built ecosystems in my house with Apple products, so I have Apple devices everywhere, doing this on my Mac right now. But with all this news of Apple, of course out comes the people that love their Android device. And one of the arguments I always get is, oh, well, Android's had that for 2 years, or Android's done this. I'm going to stop that right there, and I love Android. Right, you heard that right. An Apple fanboy. An Apple fanboy. I've had every single device, every single Apple device. I will be ordering the iPhone 6 Plus tonight. I like Android. There's tons of benefits for Android. And I think the open platform, I think their phones, they're not locked down like an Apple device is. Lots of tweaking and things you can do with them, as well as their app market itself has lots of room to grow. So for me, it's not. I'm not an Apple fanboy that hates Android devices. I just built my ecosystem and found that Apple just works. It works the best for me. Now, their live stream, if you're watching, did not work. So hopefully they fix that, because when you work in the Apple world, you're used to everything working. I have Apple TVs, so when my wife walks in the house, the pictures from her phone automatically go up into the Apple TV on our photo stream. The photo stream is actually on our daughter's iPods. The entire thing works. So that's why I'm Apple devoted. I'm a big fan of Apple. But that doesn't mean I hate Android. So for those of you that are Android fans, you don't have to hate what Apple does. You might have chosen Android for other reasons. Apple can still have a valid product. They can still have a good device. The watch that's coming out, I'm a Pebble user. I have my Pebble right here. Proud Pebble user. I love my Pebble. But I'm going to get an Apple Watch as well, and you know what? I'm not going to hate Pebble after my Apple Watch. So that's kind of what I'm putting this in perspective. So let's even take it another step further. The news coming out with Twitter making some changes in the world of how they're going to manage our stream. We're now getting favorites that we don't favorite ourselves within our stream, very similar to Pinterest. I know my wife is like, why am I seeing a bunch of stuff in my Pinterest boards that I never pinned? And so many people, and I say so many, my fans on Facebook, the ones I love, the Facebook fans, the ones that are making a living on Facebook, say, oh my God, Twitter is going to turn into a second-rate Facebook. I hate Twitter. Just another reason why Twitter sucks. Why do you have to hate Twitter if you love Facebook? I like all the platforms. I found a great value in strategy on Facebook. I love and use G+ all the time. I'm taping this on a Google Hangout, which now has the applause new feature. I'll be using that in our upcoming iSocialTalks, which is on 4 p.m. on Mondays. There's a little plug for Rachel Miller and I host SS Hour on Mondays. But why do you have to hate Twitter if you love Facebook? You don't. If you don't find value in it, that's fine. But there's not, to prove your love for something, it says you have to hate the other thing. I think that means that you're insecure and you don't really have a reason or a good enough reason to hate the other device. I'm also from the school that if I don't know the full story, if I've never used the tool, how could I hate the tool? You know, when it comes down to that side of the world, I drive a Jeep Wrangler. I love Jeeps. But you know what? I've never owned a pickup truck. So I can't hate a pickup truck because I've never owned one to know if I can hate it. So how can you hate something in order to prove your love for something else? So as we're talking about this, as you're thinking about what you have, what devices you use, what Apple, if you're going to buy an Apple product tonight, or what choices you make, I say do your research, talk to the people that are using the tool, that are educated, not ones that say, I love Apple because it's not Android. That's not a good enough reason. For me, I love Apple because it's simple. There's lots of things that are easy about it. I'm an iTunes person, I'm an Apple TV person. But if I was living in a house that didn't have Apple TVs, and I wasn't buying or purchasing movies or stuff on iTunes, it makes sense getting an Android. You can love something without having to hate the other tool. So, you know, big shout out to Gary Vee on the shirt, because this is kind of goes with a lot of my motto, you know, being yourself. I recently had someone ask on Twitter for one of these talks to be about, well, Brian, what makes you you? What makes you happy and proud to be you? And I'm very blessed. I had my amazing parents who, no matter what I did, they always said, be yourself. And so it's pretty easy when I knew being myself was all I needed to do. And if you read my most recent personal branding slide share, hopefully you did. I've 4,000 views in less than 48 hours. I thank you, all of those that have checked out that slide share, my 17 tips of personal branding. But you know, for me, once you realize that what you are is good enough, and if you really want to utilize social business or social, it's about being yourself. I don't think of social business about just what I do online or what I do on Twitter or what I do on Facebook. Social business is how I do business. I work at BroadSuite. I'm a partner. I'm a chief digital strategist at BroadSuite. And we utilize events, live events. We utilize phone calls. All of that to me is social business because it's a philosophy, a way we think. So to wrap up this entire idea, for me, it's about when you're picking a tool, when you're picking a product, if you're using a solution, please do your research, and then don't decide that you have to hate the other product to prove your love for something else. And that goes with everything, from a social network to a device to a book. Just because you disagree doesn't mean you have to hate it to love what you do. Now, sports, hopefully my Steelers pull out a win tonight, and because I hate the Ravens, but this is neither here nor there. So I will leave you with this. I am blessed and lucky to have some wonderful comments and questions from you guys, and all of the awesomeness that's happened with iSocialTalks. I'm going to do it on a more frequent basis moving forward, and I'll be putting these up on SoundCloud and doing a podcast version of this iSocialTalks, the ones where I don't do screenshots and such. But at that same time, I also have some exciting news to talk about in the very soon, next week time frame, on some chats and communities that I am be rolling out, including a podcast. So I am excited about what this has to do with, Remember, subscribe below, please. Hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down if you didn't like it. I'll take feedback either way. I was just reading a study, millennials, they want feedback more than any other generation. Well, why wouldn't you want feedback? And I think it's because social gives us real-time feedback. That's for another chat. So for this one, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up if you don't mind. Check out Ask Gary V Show. I'm representing the show today, but Ask Gary V Show that went live today, episode 15 was off the charts. Exactly what Gary does best. Also check out Jay Today, another video series that's very similar to this one that I watch every single day. It's a shorter Jay's Insights. Jay Bear is an awesome leader and thought leader in this idea, and it's no different. I have both of their books, Jab, 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 Right Hook, and Utility here because I learn from them every day. So thank you. I hope to have provided some value here. Hopefully you now have a little insight on why I say you don't have to hate to love. There's lots of hate in this world. Today is a great remembrance of hate, and it's just something that we have to think about. We have to think about, for me, I'm a nice guy, and it works against me sometimes, but I leave you with this. Be the best damn penguin you can be. With that, iSocialTalks. I will see you next week.